You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're asking the question today, does an individual's word or promise mean anything anymore? What kind of responsibility does that individual have to their HOA? Does the HOA have something that is even a greater duty than the individual homeowner? I want to hear from you today. I'm also want to just let you know I'm without Tony, so please give me a call. Don't let me just talk here myself. I'd love to hear from you. Do you agree with me? I'd love to hear your comments. Give a call, 651-289-4488. And, of course, we're broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios, and we're brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors. If you're looking for quality workmanship and attentive customer care, call the folks at Extreme Exteriors. They won't give you a sales job. They will be thoughtful and consultative in their approach to all your maintenance needs. That's Extreme Exteriors at 763-441-1334. Tell them Gene and Tony sent you. And before we get going here, too, I'd like to just remind our listeners here in the first hour, we have a free subscription, a bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. And a lot of the topics we cover on the show are covered in further detail. It's a great resource. We have over 18,000 folks subscribing to that newsletter. It's yours free. Give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Courtney, and she'll make sure that you start receiving your subscription. And again, give us a call, 651-289-4488. But like I said, I was going to, at the last break here, I was going to talk about this whole area of rules and regulations. Let's look at it from another perspective, not from the individual homeowner's perspective, but how about from those that are on the board of directors? And what are those 5 most important don'ts you need to remember about rules and regulations? You know, when you stop to think about it, any board of director for an HOA has a lot of responsibility. They've got to come up with a budget each and every year. They need to work with the management company and negotiating contracts for all the services that take place. Insurance on the property, snow removal, lawn care, that type of thing. They have to take care of maintenance while staying within the means of the association, within budget, not spending more than what's coming in. They need to pursue delinquent accounts with people who aren't paying. They need to seek out the majority wishes of the community before moving forward. There's a lot that they need to do, but one piece of that is the area of enforcing rules and regulations. And I guess I would submit to you that if there is something that people probably find most offensive as an individual homeowner, and that is the board's responsibility in enforcing rules and regulations. The board's got to consider how are they going to be enforced and to what extent. And so I've got several things that I want to have you consider, okay? When does the enforcement of rules and regulations become too aggressive? What do you think? Does it happen? Has it happened at your association? If so, I'd love to hear from you. Again, 651-289-4488. Do you think that the enforcement becomes too aggressive or only when you as an individual are being restricted in something? You know, most people think, oh, I don't care what the rules are, until that rule is aimed at them and giving them a prohibition from something that they can't do. That's when they care. And are you that way in your homeowners association? Do you even know what your rules are? Did you take a look at them prior to purchasing into that community? And let me ask you the question, are you willing to follow those rules? Or do you kind of think secretively in your mind, that's really only for others to do? Well, let's take a look at this, the responsibility that a board of directors has, and what are some of those important don'ts that they need to remember. The first don't that I would like to recommend that board members think about in rules and regulations is don't ignore violations, but don't go to war over minor issues. Man, I can't tell you how many times a board sometimes just gets so wrapped up in trying to make sure that everything is enforced 24/7 and all around the property. And quite frankly, there's just not enough policemen. There's not enough management personnel. There's not enough people on the board to take a look at everything that's going on all the time, 24/7 at your HOA. So you don't want to ignore violations, but folks, don't go to war over minor issues. And what do I mean by that? Well, a perfect example that I see that happens quite often is that some homeowner moves ahead with unauthorized construction of an improvement. Okay, it might be in getting the steps to up to their deck replaced, and it needs to be done. And the bylaws, the governing documents state that the homeowner needs to talk to the board prior to that work being done. It's not that the board's not going to approve it. They just want to know. They just want to have that extra insurance that the person has thought through things and that there's someone who's going to do the job right and is also insured so that the association doesn't have liability. It's a simple request. But if the person has not given you the authority, how many times have I seen a board who will say, "Well, they didn't give us a letter here asking for getting this thing done prior to going to work, so now we need to fine them." And so that's why I'm saying, don't ignore violations, but don't go to war over minor issues. If the issue is especially something that is an improvement that can't be seen, or even if it is, it's something that you would have given approval of anyway, folks, be a little bit more understanding. Work with the homeowner. Don't just go to war over them over the small issues like that. A one-time nuisance violation would be another issue, not to go to war over a minor issue. What do I mean by that? How many times will someone have a graduation party? Or maybe there will be a wedding celebration in someone's backyard. And that's a one-time event. That's not something that's happening again and again and again. So just because the homeowners may have gone maybe a little bit too long, people were bothered once. Again, it's not an ongoing issue. So do you need to major in something that's minor? Do you need to go to war over a minor issue? I don't think that you need to kind of ante up things like this. It ends up being a waste of your time if you're a board member, and also can become a waste of so many others as well. It looks like we need to take another quick break, but we've got a few other things that we'd like to cover on this area for board members on what to remember, don'ts to remember with your rules and regulations. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280 The Patriot. Back after this.